So I was having some drama with my family over Facebook, which I know is just so stupid, but at the same time, it is what it is. But I want to touch on that and a few other things too. I reached out to my sister asking for support and advice on what to do, like strategically in my life, and I was basically shot down, telling me that I shouldn't do anything until I take care of certain things. And I don't think that that's very helpful. Um, the things that I was asking assistance on had to do with my campaign for mayor, which my sister revealed to me that she's also interested in taking public office at some point, but she admittedly doesn't really know much about how it works. Only that she feels like she's done enough to be able to get respect if she was to go into that um, you go into that avenue. Um, and Which is awesome. I think she'd be great um, in public office in many ways, but I think there's so much that she would have to address before she would really be like truly a good politician. Because the way she's looking at it is that she's like that having certain credentials is what makes you earns you the respect of and the ability to take public office. But I don't think that that's how it should work. It may be how it works, but I don't think that's how it should work. I think that when it comes to like who should be or shouldn't be like able to take public office or even show interest in it, I think it should come down to like who has good ideas, who's willing and able to be open and honest and like just talk logically and reasonably and um, you know, who makes sense. Does it make sense to um, have to obtain like a certain pedigree before you can get respect? I don't think I think that of course those things do get respect, but I don't think that has to be the only way. I think anybody who has a good idea should be able to, be, um, you know, get a seat at the table. And I think it's not that hard to discuss an idea. Um, but we're way too caught up in whether or not, um, where's the idea coming from? Like, is the idea coming from somebody that has a degree? Is the idea coming from somebody who has who's respected, like why do we have to have ideas come from respectable people? Why can't the ideas just be judged by the merit of the actual content of the idea? Um, like I dealt with this so much over the summer during CHOP and during when the Black Lives Matter movement really started to get like national recognition. Like you know, I'm from Seattle, Washington. I mean, this is like the epicenter of change as far as police reform and um like racial social justice, all that stuff. We're like at the epicenter right here. We're on like the cutting edge. We're like on the what was it I was saying the other day? I stole this from Esther Hicks, but we're like we're we're like on the forefront of the wave. Or like the cusp. Never mind, I'm gonna stop trying to say it because I'm just sounding silly, but like there's a lot going down here and I think we're like on the front of change. And so I mean this is where CHOP was. Um, we're one of the places that has had these protests almost every single night for forever since the George Floyd thing started. And I was so excited for all this to start happening because I was thinking, that it would be like finally people are going to appreciate my contributions and people are going to take the time to hear a lot of these great ideas I have. And I was just really excited for it to be a time for these all the value that I have to be appreciated and for it to actually go towards making change in the world. And I experienced a lot of the same problems that I'm experiencing now with my when I was talking to my sister, my family, a lot of the things that she's trying to um, overcome before she feels like she can be able to make a contribution. And it's like, where is the idea coming from? Am I a respectable person? Do people respect me just enough to value my ideas? Like, that's one of the things I wanted to overcome, help the whole community, the whole city, the whole world, if you will, overcome by running for mayor in Seattle, was to help us judge ideas based on the content of the idea, that like judge an idea on its merit, not based on where it's coming from. Like, ideas have so much value, um, so much more value if we're judging it strictly on the idea, not, where did it come from. So, like, yeah, during the chop the chop ordeal, the chop situation, what do you want to call it? During chop, um, uh, something that I feel like was so detrimental to, like, it like realizing like its full value, or like being as valuable as it could be, is that ideas had to come from, for the most part, from a certain type of person. And I think it still is that way to a large degree, where ideas aren't valued if it's coming from ideas about Black people, um, are only supposed to come from Black people when it comes to this movement. Um, and so time and time again, I've seen my ideas shot down, or my ability to participate shot down, because I'm white. And and I feel like an idea could help. Um, idea could help. Theoretically, an idea could come from a white person that could help the Black Lives Matter movement. But and if an idea that comes from a white person isn't helpful for the Black Lives Matter movement, um, that should be justifiable, not just based on the fact that it comes from a white person, in my opinion. Um, and the same goes for what I was talking about with my sister, is that if um, if I wasn't going to be a good politician, a good mayor, or the ideas that I'm bringing to the table when I approach this campaign aren't good, aren't of quality, aren't high quality, it should be justifiable. Other than, oh, you have no experience, you don't have a job, you don't, um, you're not supporting yourself. Um, uh, all those things. I mean, if we can't change that mindset, what does that say to, like, all the people, to the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who don't have jobs right now? Like, are we going to say that, that you're unemployed, so you have no value? You're unemployed, so your idea is wrong? Are we going to say that? Are we going to say that because, um, you know, because I don't have a degree, my idea has no value? Like, that doesn't make no sense. Like, there's so many people who are so stuck. Like, there's all the people who are stuck. Not that they're stuck, but it feels kind of stuck when your ideas, no matter how high quality they are, get shot down because of the position that you're at in life, or things that you were born into that have no bearing on the idea that you're having, or what you bring to the table, or your value. Like, if we really want to give people upwards mobility to get out of the things that bother us so much, that we're, so many people are bitching and complaining about all the time, we need to start appreciating their contributions for what they are, and stop attaching all this value to things that don't have any relevance. Like, and so I could speak on this a lot more, but I'm just gonna try and wrap this up here, because I have so many other things I want to talk about. But I want to keep this video on point with just this one subject. Um, so yeah, my sister is so much like me. Like, I'm so much like her. Like, so many of my beliefs that make me so special and so unique as a candidate for mayor. Um, like, these are ideas that were planted in me by my sister at a very young age. And so, um, I want to hear, in a perfect world, I'd hear my sister saying, like, being encouraging of me and my ideas, and not telling me that I couldn't do what I'm trying to do based on things that are irrelevant. That, well, everything is relevant, but not everything is proof that somebody's idea is wrong. Um, and so, yeah, I wish my sister would approach the Maple Valley City Council meetings that she's planning on participating in. I really wish that she would approach them. I really wish that she would approach them with a different mindset, because, like, you can't. And I don't know anything about Maple Valley City Council. I do know something about a lot of people that I experienced in Maple Valley when I was growing up there, is that there's a lot of backwards ideas there about, what what somebody needs to be like, and before they can even be acknowledged or their ideas can have value. And if you approach a situation where it's like you change your values, like, to align with, to be able to get, like, acceptance into this group, into this council, if that's how they even are, maybe they're not like that, but if they are, that really sucks, because you're going to change what your values are to try and impress them and try and get consideration by them. And I don't think that that's right. Like, if they have values that are, like, if their values aren't righteous and just and don't make sense, if they say that you have to have a degree, or for your value to be, for whatever idea you bring to the table, to be right or wrong or even be considered, that's messed up. Don't participate in that in the way that you're thinking about participating in that. Um, sure, everything that you've done right now that will get respect from them, that's great. I think it's awesome, but it shouldn't make your idea, you know, be right or be wrong. If your ideas are good enough, you should be able to get a seat at the table just based on the fact that your ideas are good and you're bringing valuable ideas to the table. Um, and I think all it should take, like, I mean, if you bring one good idea to the table, or like, and they don't acknowledge it, or they try and show that, and they just say something that doesn't make sense. I mean, that's your in right there, Ange. If um, so either you have a good ideas and you bring them to the table and they're good ideas. If they're smart people, they're part of the city council, they will appreciate those good ideas that you bring to the table, and they will say so. But if they're not, if they're not, um, if they're not the right people, if they should be on the city council and they don't appreciate actual good ideas and say so, then they have just given you an in to take their seat, in my opinion. Um, that's I think that should be your in. You don't want to potentially end up, like, you don't want to start trying to impress people who are impressed by the wrong thing, in my opinion. Once you start that game, like, uh, it's going down a rabbit hole, or it could be. Gosh, and a lot of the stuff I'm saying, like, I'm just thinking about a lot of this stuff. Um, uh, I'm a hypocrite about this kind of stuff sometimes, more often than I should be, and I'm trying to hold myself to that too. And so, let's just, like, move forward and try and practice what we preach, and try and value ideas more, and don't let other people, if possible, assign value to things that aren't valuable. Let's keep the conversation on what's relevant. Um, let's just value ideas more. Let's value ideas and not where they come from. Is that the moral of this? Let's assign value to the actual content and merit of ideas, and start valuing ideas in general more. Like, if we just value ideas instead of where they come from and a bunch of other irrelevant bullshit, I feel like we can start solving problems in Seattle and the world more. Like, let's just focus on ideas. Like, if we just focus on coming up with the best ideas, like, and just get everybody's mind, like, and mindset working in that direction, um, that's what we got to do. It's like, we got to get people thinking that way. Um, And that's why I think I'm the candidate. I'm somebody who should be supported, and I should be encouraged to get through some of the things I'm getting, like trying to get through. Like I know, there's like some stuff that was like, we don't. Why would we want a city council? Not sorry. Why would we want anybody involved in this process that doesn't have their shit together? Like 100%. Like, well, because when it comes down to it, I have really good ideas that aren't being brought to the table by anybody else, and that's just what it is. Sure, my personal life may be a little bit in shambles, but that's my personal life, and I but my ideas are really good. Um, when it comes down to that, like seeing the big picture, I see the big picture. I see what's really relevant, and I can help keep the conversation going in that direction. I can I can see that. I see what's relevant in the bigger picture, and so that's why let's just I'm over 16 minutes. That means I can't even upload this video the regular way, which kind of sucks. So I'm gonna get off of here. Um, Jeffrey Applegate, still running for mayor right now. I, I think I'm gonna keep running for mayor. I'm pretty sure. Um, no one's given me a good reason why. No one's told me a good reason why I shouldn't yet. I'm open to talking about it. So, um, yeah. What is? Yeah, that's all. Okay. Hit me up. Message me. Jeffrey Applegate for mayor 2021, Seattle. Oh yeah, and I love you, sister. I love my whole family. But you know, so oh yeah, one last thing is so knowing that you have an interest in learning about the political process and all that kind of stuff, I feel like um in the interest of being serious about that, a little bit more interest in maybe even participation in my campaign would do so much for you when it comes to you having a campaign of your own for Maple Valley City Council. Like, even if it's not from like an official taking an official role in my campaign, um, just any participation in like my campaign, especially right now in its infancy, because this is all the pretense and the BS, really the bureaucracy of it, and where you have to do all the confusing, not fun stuff. Make sure you're getting set up properly to take contributions and like filing this, filing that. Um, like that's the part that I think would be most prudent for you to be involved in and understand. Um, and I know your personality. Like you're a lot like me, so that's going to be the part where you would get most discouraged. Is this part when it's really kind of confusing and boring, and when you don't have a lot of kudos coming you know from other people just because you are doing it. Um, well, maybe you will because you've done certain things before I have, but um, yeah, that's all. This is, but when you get your campaign off the ground, I will be a great resource for you because I've done all this stuff before now, and I understand how it works. I know how to do it, and oh yeah, there's not a lot of resources for getting this up and off the ground for anybody. Like there really isn't. Like I love how supportive we are of making it this like accessible, with democracy vouchers and everything in Seattle. But still, there's not like an easy how to do it process for people. Like there's no walkthrough, and I plan on making one of those at some point, as soon as I get up and going a little bit more. Like I want, And I want to do it in time for people to still participate in this election too. So maybe I should do that sometime soon. So, um, but that there is a lot of great help. I feel bad now because like there is a lot. It's not for lack of trying. They're Seattle is doing really great with that, but they could do better making it easier to understand the process. But okay, let's do this. Let's post this. This is gonna be like kind of a big deal because I haven't posted much stuff at all online, and I haven't posted much stuff for my campaign because I don't want to look stupid or look silly. So this is gonna be a first, I think. Damn.